Hello friends, today we're going to be talking about acid reflux. I'm Dr. Gold, medical doctor, board certified in family medicine and holistic medicine, and I have a medical student with me today. Lexie.
Hi, I'm Lexie. I'm a fourth year medical student.
Yeah, and she's going to tell us, I'm going to quiz her right now, but tell me, what is acid reflux?
Yeah, so when we eat food, it goes down our esophagus and into our stomach, but there's a little valve called the lower esophageal sphincter that's between the esophagus and the stomach. And when that valve is a little weak or relaxes too much, we have some of the stomach contents come up into the esophagus, and the acidity of those stomach contents can cause some burning, what we classically know as heartburn, a sour taste in the mouth, or even some reflux of the contents up into the mouth.
Yeah, that's not fun. And I have a lot of patients who come to see me because of poor diet, they're just not eating well or eating too quickly on the go, and they just don't feel good. I'm like, what's going on? I get this burning sensation.
And there's a lot of things that can cause that lower esophageal sphincter to relax. So literal pressure, maybe obesity, pregnancy, a hiatal hernia causing increased abdominal pressure on that sphincter, or particular foods, diets, how we eat, where we eat can kind of relax that sphincter when we want it to be tightly closed.
Exactly. So just think of that doorway opening, the acid coming up, and it's going where it shouldn't, because in the esophagus we want it to be not acidic. It's where the transfer of food is going. We want it to get digested in the stomach. So when the acid is leaking up, it can burn, especially when you're lying down going to sleep.
Yes.
So we're going to talk about some natural remedies, things you can do to help with that. So first, just remember the lifestyle we mentioned, even just slowing down, eating in front, at a table, and putting in some sunshine, some brightness, and a nice prayer. I usually say just thank you for this food that will nourish my body and my soul, and then actually look at the food, because I've done that before and it was fries and I was like, I can't eat this food. It's junky. So, and I get it, because sometimes we are on the go and there's not always availability, but do your best. If you can try to plan ahead, that makes a huge difference. Did you want to share some good foods that are helpful?
Yeah, so some of the foods that are bad are actually foods that even could be good for you, but by nature they relax the lower esophageal sphincter. So this is your garlic, citrus, chocolate, mint, and spicy foods. So even though some of those are great foods for you, if you're prone to acid reflux or you have other factors, environmental, lifestyle factors, increasing your risk for acid reflux, you might want to stay away from the citrus, spicy, garlic, mint, chocolate foods.
Yeah, and especially those fried fatty foods as well can not be good. And just keep a list, because some things you can get away with, but some foods not. And it's good to just check with your own body what works for you. And it's not just symptoms. Make sure you do see your doctor, come see me, just to check out what is going on. And there is traditional.
I was going to ask, Dr. Gold, can you tell me some of the dangers of PPIs?
Yeah, well, let me just tell you what PPIs are first. They're proton pump inhibitors. They are conventional treatments for the acid reflux. And we know what they do is they lower the stomach acid or inhibit the production of that stomach acid. You might have heard of Prilosec or Meprazole, those types of medicines. Tagamet is an H2 blocker. They work in a little different manner, but they're also, again, reducing stomach acid. Or you might have done Tums, bicarbonates, calcium. My husband has popped those too. And again, just trying to block that acid. It can work. It's worked for a lot of people. The concern is taking them over the long haul, because they can reduce stomach acid, which we actually need to digest food. So the more you're consuming those medications, what happens is less stomach acid in the stomach, which is where it's needed and it's naturally produced. So if you're not having it, we're not going to absorb calcium, vitamin D as well, magnesium, and all these nutrients are good for our bones, good for our brain, good for overall health, for mood, for reducing the risk for allergies, boosting up the immune system. So it can actually increase your risk for Clostridium difficile, which is a horrendous diarrhea. You never want to get that. I've had patients with it, and it can be a nightmare. And then just also increase your risk for infections. So highly recommend, if you need the medicine, of course, we follow what the doctors say, but we may want to consider some natural alternatives and also the lifestyle modifications, which can make a huge difference. Like, one big thing is after you eat, not lying down right away, because again, that body wants to digest the food. If you're lying back and that valve is a little leaky, the acid can be moving up. So paying attention. Then there's natural supplements. Would you like to share?
Yeah, so some of my favorite natural supplements for acid reflux. One is licorice, and particularly it's sold in its deglycerinized form.
Yes.
So you'll see it on the shelves in the supplement store near the vitamins called DGL.
Yeah.
And this licorice, along with some other herbs, have the ability to kind of just coat the lining of the esophagus and into the stomach. So it helps that if you do have acid reflux, it doesn't cause as much damage or irritation to the lining. So other than the DGL or the licorice, there's slippery elm, there's even aloe vera, and a juice can be really soothing to the esophagus, and marshmallow root. So those sometimes can also be found in teas or as a supplement form. Another one that's interesting, if you've seen some of the research coming out about it, is melatonin. So in a small dose, 3 milligrams, melatonin has been shown to have a protective effect at the lower esophageal sphincter. So this might be great for those people that really suffer with the nighttime acid reflux. If they already need something to help with some relaxation or going to bed, then melatonin might be a good one to take after dinner in the evening time around 8 or 9 p.m.
Yeah, absolutely. So it can help you with sleep, and then also that indigestion, because if that's waking you up, really, sleep is paramount for life. It helps with your brain function, helps with memory, recovery. So yes, really important. And I've actually used with lots of patients that aloe vera. They love it. Just make sure it's food grade, because you don't want to just pick a plant somewhere and just cut it. You have to be really careful because they can be toxic, but if you're getting the juice and it's purified properly, it can be very good for you, and taking the proper dose. So again, speak to your doctor about this, or PA, or a nurse practitioner. The DGL or the licorice, some people are concerned about blood pressure, but the DGL, that particular form, doesn't raise blood pressure. So I was very happy for my patients. They do really well with that as well. But yes, these are wonderful, and ginger is also really good for the stomach or nausea. If you get nausea with your acid reflux, it can be really helpful.
Dr. Gold, could you just speak a little bit about some patients, it's rarer, but if this does happen, who actually have low stomach acid, and how you would diagnose that and how you would treat that?
Yeah, there's various tests. You can actually do an acid test to find out. We can add a little demo later or put it in a little insert for the details. But the cool part is, if you're finding that you have low stomach acid, you definitely don't want to take these types of medicines, because it's just going to lower that stomach acid even more. And remember, low stomach acid, that means you're not going to digest the food as well. So there is, I think it's the bicarbonate test that you've done, and you keep taking. We'll get to the more details. Honestly, I haven't done it recently, so I don't want to say, but it can be very helpful to do the proper testing to find out what your body's doing, and then treat the underlying cause. As an integrative medical doctor, I'm all about root causes, so you can identify why someone's feeling the way they're feeling. And yes, you might say, well, if I have low stomach acid and I take an H2 blocker or the proton pump inhibitors and they work, what's going on? All you're doing is reducing that stomach acid, and also it may not be creeping up into the esophagus, so you're not getting that burning type sensation. Usually low stomach acid, you can have symptoms similar where you just don't feel good. You might feel bloated, and
indigestion.
Indigestion, yeah. So you may mistake it for too much stomach acid. So again, check into it, make sure, see what's going on, because the long-term ramifications of not having enough stomach acid is low nutrients, and we don't want, your bones need good nutrients, calcium, vitamin D, phosphorus, boron, all the good stuff. So if they're not receiving those nutrients, you're not going to have good energy, and you're going to feel fatigued or tired, not going to be able to make your hormones, so your body can suffer, and we don't want that.
So that's acid reflux, one of the most common complaints that we see in society, and we just want to let everyone know that there are other options. There are more things you can do to be preventative, and there are options out there for treating it as well.
Exactly. So thank you, and I just want to thank you, Lexie. She's teaching
Gold.
me a lot from the students, because honestly, they're in the forefronts reading the latest literature and learning. I'm kind of old school sometimes. I have to go back to my textbooks, but it's wonderful because, the wisdom, the experience with 25 years of experience, and then also kind of getting some new blood and learning about acid reflux from a different perspective too. So I just want to thank you for being here today.